believe behind all of this is Puffy. You've said this yourself with $1 million, whether it was $1 million, whether it was $500,000. Tell us a little bit about that.
What I believe happened with Puffy was that, again, I don't think he wanted this conflict to get worse than it already was. And if he could figure out a way to quell that, he would. In fact, we have a statement saying that Puffy had reached out to members of the Nation of Islam to approach Suge Knight and say, hey, let's have a peace treaty, let's squash this thing, but Suge wanted nothing to do with it. So he was trying to get out from under this imposing threat, knowing that Suge held him responsible for the murder of his friend, and whenever he would come to LA, he knew that Suge Knight was trying to hunt him down. We have a reported incident, an investigation, where Suge Knight had accosted one of his associates at a Christmas party in Los Angeles, and they beat the living shit out of this guy. He almost lost his eye in an attempt for these guys to knowledge about where he lived in Los Angeles. So he undoubtedly becomes aware of the fact that these guys are actively hunting me down. They're kidnapping, assaulting people. My life definitely in harm's way. And so I think that out of that desperation and fear, he turned to the streets and said, can you guys kind of handle this for me?
Suge returned with a vengeance. He stormed in and immediately escalated things from 0 to 100, slapping Jermaine until he fled the club in a hurry. Standing nearby was Puff, who found himself abruptly lifted off the ground by Suge. I had never before witnessed a man suspended in mid-air by just one hand, but there was Suge, gripping Puff single-handedly and shaking him as if to say, "What now?"
Suge came back. He came right in and slapped the out of Jermaine Dupri. Wow! Jermaine ran out the goddamn club, and Puff was standing right there, and he snatched Puff off his feet. It's the first time I ever seen a man dangling in the air off their feet with one hand. Suge had him with one hand and was shaking them like, what's up?
This incident was emblematic of the notorious East Coast and West Coast rivalry, a feud so severe that it ultimately led to the tragic deaths of two iconic rap figures, Tupac and Biggie. This saga has taken on an almost mythical status. Meanwhile, Diddy seemed to take advantage of the chaos, allegedly exploiting and blackmailing those within his circle. He became the real-life Boogeyman of the industry, a title he would hold unless someone even more formidable appeared, which seemed unlikely unless it involved heavyweights like Beyonce or Jay-Z.
Bitch-ass Puffy can give him a mother star. Every rat in the world said he didn't want to kill Tupac.
Despite the accusations, many still argue that Puff had no hand in Tupac's demise. Indeed, Suge Knight had become a figure of terror in the hip-hop world, notorious for both exploiting his own artists and intimidating any other rapper who dared challenge or cross him. Back in the day, the diddler found himself without a voice, compelled to surround himself with a posse of thugs and gangsters for protection. It later emerged that he had informed the feds about Suge Knight, leading to Knight's incarceration, a risky move given the notorious fate of snitches in the hood.
They was not scared of Suge Knight. They was terrified of Suge Knight.
Right.
I mean, terrified.
I know.
No, to death.
To death. Wow.
Okay, I'm not talking, so I'm at the Vibe Awards.
Facts.
And this nigga walk in. This is the first time I'm with my wife, right? Suge Knight walk in. He just walked in, bro. Walked in with a cigar by himself. Alicia Keys start running. Russell Simmons, no action, nigga. No business. Niggas is running, niggas is getting up out of there. Every New York killer, whatever you name, all these niggas that was like the niggas they write books about and put in movies, niggas was running to the back, niggas was terrified of this nigga, right?
Facts.
Now it's the first.
Despite their tough exterior, these individuals were not just afraid of Suge Knight. They were absolutely terrified of him. I remember attending the Vibe Awards, which was actually the first event I attended with my wife. When Suge Knight walked in, just strolled in solo, smoking a cigar, everyone was on edge. Key industry figures like Russell Simmons and others who were normally calm and collected were visibly shaken, scrambling for the exits. Even the hardened New Yorkers, The types celebrated in books and films couldn't hide their fear. Let me share another incident involving Suge Knight at the BMI Awards in LA. Cool and Dre, notable producers, were headed to the entrance when they noticed something odd. All around them, artists were reluctantly removing their expensive jewelry. Earrings, watches, chains. And it turned out Suge Knight was there, personally collecting these items. It was almost like a professional operation, with everyone compliantly handing over their valuables. When it was Cool and Dre's turn, they braced themselves for what they thought was an inevitable robbery. However, upon recognizing them, Knight simply acknowledged their association with Joe and allowed them to pass, jewelry intact. They almost felt guilty for being spared the ordeal that others were subjected to.
Suge Knight's a problem. I'll tell you a quick story is, Cool and Dre, they went to the BMI Awards here in LA. They were going in the entrance and it looked like it was the way to get in. And so all the other producers, writers, everybody was online. It was all there. So then Cool and Dre noticed as they were getting closer to the line that every artist was taking off their earrings, their watches, their chains, and it was Suge Knight sitting in a chair collecting everybody's jewelry, and they were like giving it up professionally. Yeah, earrings too, guys. Take them off, take off your... And this really happened. There's no cap. And then when Cool and Dre walked up, they thought they were gonna be robbed too. And then Suge seen them and said, yo, y'all them producers, y'all down with Joe. He was like, Cool and Dre, right? And it was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, y'all could go inside. They almost felt guilty that they got to keep their jewelry. You know, people were volunteering. You know, he was a very dangerous guy. Suge Knight was a very dangerous guy.
Suge Knight's reputation for danger was well known. He even warned Tupac to stay guarded.
I'd like to tell Tupac to keep his guards up. We ride with him. And one other thing I'd like to say, any artist out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star, and don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the video, all on the record, dancing. Come to Death Row.
Moreover, he was the sort of industry executive who, unlike some, preferred not to overshadow his artists. He famously emphasized that any artist wanting to stay in the spotlight should avoid executives who insist on being prominently featured in videos or records. This fear was palpable even among the most fearless, like 50 Cent, who was visibly shaken when Suge Knight showed up unexpectedly at the music video shoot for In the Club. As soon as the word got out that Suge was outside, the entire set was thrown into chaos, with everyone from the light technicians to the crew members scrambling to safety. This incident highlighted just how intimidating Suge Knight could be, even to the biggest names in the industry. I was in front of the camera, just running when they suddenly vanished. All right, let me explain. Things really changed when, say, someone from the barbershop lands a punch on you and knocks you out. From then on, your world shifts. Imagine being knocked out by that guy from the barbershop, and then hearing whispers that Suge's outside. Suddenly, everyone's attitude shifts, and they're asking, yeah, what does he want? It changes the atmosphere, you know?
I remember the time, actually, it's funny because he showed up to the In the Club video shoot. He came, it was like, Suge's outside! Suge's outside! Everybody like, he was running, dropping shit, like, man, everybody going, I'm in front of the camera like this. Everybody like, whoa! Running. It was just gone. Yeah, now it kind of changed a little bit. Like, when somebody from the barbershop, like, punch you and knock you out after that, like, you be knocked out, like, from the guy from the barbershop do that, it changed. And they be like, Suge's outside. And everybody be like, yeah? What do you want? It changes a little bit. You know what I mean? Like,
Greg the Knockout Kid did get famous off that one.
I don't know his name.
Yeah, that was Greg. He was Greg the Knockout Kid. I think that's his name. He got famous. He was famous for a couple of weeks.
He just got famous now. He famous now.
He said famous for a couple of weeks.
Knocked out Suge, man. He got famous.
And then there's C.R.A. Greg, the Knockout Kid. That's the name he got famous for, though I'm not sure if that's exactly how it goes. He became a sensation for a couple of weeks after he knocked out Suge. He skyrocketed to fame, just like that. Now consider this. The same people who were serving as security for Puffy, Biggie, and Bad Boy when they came to LA ended up in that fight with Tupac in Vegas. To me, that's a massive coincidence. I'm not buying it as just a random event. Why would you inform the smallest guy in the crew that the people who stole my chain are over there, by the elevators on the other side of the casino? Why not tell Suge, or one of the bouncers, the security guards, or the bodyguards? Has anyone questioned why he would notify a man who brings in all the money for the group? That smells like a setup. They were setting him up, and if you get what I'm saying, you understand. Me and Poi, we were friends, and we understood one thing about the streets. If you're known as the best, you become a trophy. Everyone wants a piece of that. Now, regarding the speculations around the deaths of Tupac and Biggie, Suge and the Diddler have been central figures. This raises the question, who actually had them killed? Despite Suge's fearsome reputation, the Diddler was known as a slippery character, not about something trivial but serious matters like murder and abuse. But here's the thing. Puffy, as you've said yourself, was involved somehow, whether it involved $1 million or $500,000. I believe Puffy didn't want the conflict to escalate further. He even tried to broker peace, reaching out through the Nation of Islam to propose a peace treaty to Suge, who flatly refused. So, Puffy was trying to escape the looming threat over him, knowing Suge held him accountable for his friend's murder. Whenever he came to LA, he knew Suge was on the hunt. We've even had reports of Suge confronting one of Puffy's associates at a Christmas party in LA, where the guy nearly lost an eye. That incident highlights the dangerous lengths to which Suge would go. Aware that these threats were real and immediate, Puffy turned to the streets for help, asking if they could handle the situation, driven by desperation and fear. What are your thoughts on this complicated Suge Diddy situation? Share your opinions in the comments section below, and forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.